Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be sharing with you how I made this asymmetric neckline dress. So if you haven't seen the drafting tutorial, I'm going to leave the link at the description box, or you can go right down to my channel at the videos. You're going to see it there. And if it's your first time viewing my channel, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's start. So this is my pattern, and in my previous video I went ahead to cut out this pattern. So right now on my fabric, I have gone ahead to cut out all my pattern, and I added half-inch allowance. So the half-inch will be serving as my joining allowance. So this is the back pattern, and I've gone ahead to cut out the front and the back piece of my back. I'll also cut out the lining for all these pieces. So after cutting the lining, I'll go ahead to cut out gum stay for this. So for this particular pattern, I won't be adding a padding or wadding to my upper part, but you can go ahead and do that to yours. So to join, I'll go ahead and unpin all my pattern. After unpinning my pattern for the front part, I'm going to open it up this way, and what I'm going to do next is to join. So to join, I'm going to open it up this way, and next I'm just going to place this on this, and I'm going to sew with half-inch right to the top. So after sewing, if you have any excess, you can go ahead to trim it off, and I'll repeat the same process for this part also. I'll just sew with that half-inch allowance that we cut out. So moving over to the back, I'm just going to flip the back open, the center back, and I'm going to go ahead to pick the sides, and I'm going to join it just the same way I joined my front. And remember, whatever you're doing to this material, you're going to do it to your lining. The only difference is that you're going to iron gum stay to your lining. You can also go as well iron a gum stay or soft stay to your pattern if you don't want to add wadding to it. So after joining it, this is what I have. This is what the front is looking like. So next, we're going to determine the neckline, the design we want for the neck, where you want your neck to actually start. So I'm just going to mark 5.5 inches so that by the time I sew it is going to be at 6 inches. So you can go ahead to even make yours 6 if you want yours to be lower. You can use 6 or 7 depending on how low you want yours. And so from that point, I'm just going to make a curve to meet my neckline. And after meeting the neckline, I'm just going to take the other line straight down. Then I'm going to go ahead and I will just cut it out. So with this, the front pattern is ready, and we'll be moving to the back. So after cutting it, this is what I have, and we'll be moving to the back. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to take the right side facing the right side. But before you do that, you're going to place your back pattern together, and you're going to mark out your zipper allowance. After that, you can just go ahead to use your pin to pin it, or you can just sew a loose stitch on it that you can open later. But mine, to avoid difficulty of opening it, I'm just going to pin it down. So after pinning it down, I'm going to open it. This is what I have. So I'll take the front pattern and I'll place front side facing the front side, and I'll make sure all the body of my dress aligns before I'm going to cut. So right now I'm going to start cutting this dress. So from the top, I'm just going to make a curve. I hope you're seeing it. I'm using a blue chalk, so I'm just going to make a curve at this point at the zipper part. Just make a straight line there so that your zip will not slant when you're sewing, because if you make a slanted line there, one part of the other side will meet the other side. So after that, I'm just going to slant it to the armhole and connect it back to the shoulder line. So for the back, I'm not making any curve or design at the shoulder line. I'm just making a simple neckline, and I'm just going to go ahead to cut it out. This is also a method of sewing a monostrap. So if you don't know how to cut a monostrap, this is also a video on how to cut a monostrap. After cutting out, I'm just going to open it up this way, and what I will do is just to remove the pin at the back. So if you stitched yours, you're just going to tear open the stitch, and look at the neckline at the zipper part, it is meeting. So this is what I have. Next, I'll be transferring what I have on the material to the lining, and to do that I'm going to place my lining facing the front part of my lining, or the main part of my lining facing the front part of my dress. So front side or right side facing each other, and you're going to place it appropriately. And after facing it or placing it, you're going to go ahead to trim off. So after trimming off, this is what I have for this part. And you're going to stitch the neckline and the side. You're not going to stitch the armhole. So after stitching, you're just going to go ahead to notch the neckline very well, and you're going to turn it to the right side. So after notching, I've gone ahead to turn it to the right side, and this is what I have. So next we'll be moving to the back of this dress. So for the back, I've also ironed my gum stay on it, and if you notice, after ironing, I top stitch round my gum stay. So that is just a simple sewing trick to avoid my gum stay from shifting out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the front side of the lining and I'm going to place it to the front side of the fabric too. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the sides and the lower part. So after cutting out, this is what I have, and if you notice, there's no much difference in this one, but the other part is more of an off shoulder. So I'll take the other part. So this is it, the part that is an off shoulder, and I'm going to turn the front side facing up, and I'm going to take the right side of the lining and I'm going to place it on it. So if I place it on it, this is what I have, and what I'm going to do is to trim out the excess I have at the upper part. So after trimming it out, this is what I have. So I'll go over to the machine, I'll stitch up the sides and the neckline, and also stitch the neckline and sides of this other part. I have stitched both the front and the back, and you can see the neckline I have, and this is the back, and if you see, it is meeting at the upper part this way. So right now we are done with the upper part, and we'll be moving to the lower part of this dress. So for my skirt pattern, I've gone ahead to turn it. I did it off the camera, so I have videos of where I turned up my skirt. You can go ahead to check that out. So to join my skirt to the upper part, I'm going to fold it into two, and I'm going to go ahead to notch the center. So after notching the center, I'm just going to open it up, and I will notch the center of this particular one. So while notching, I'm going to make sure the cut at the sides meet, and I will notch the center. Then I'll go ahead to join this with 1/2 inch this way. Moving over to the back, I'm just going to place this, and I will stitch with 1/2 inch, and go ahead to stitch this also with 1/2 inch. After stitching, I'll close up the back, and I'll go ahead to attach zip to the back. So I've joined the lower part of the skirt to the upper part of the dress, and this is what I have. So if your half length is too long at this part, you can go ahead to trim it off. And this is also my back. Next is to join my shoulder, and to join my shoulder, I'm going to place my fabric this way. Then I'm going to take this, I'll place it at the back this way, and then I'll open up the back, I'll flip it open, then use it to cover the front. Then I'll go ahead to stitch it with 1/2 inch. So now it's time to cut the sleeve. To cut my sleeve, I'll go ahead to measure what I have at my armhole this way, or you can measure your armhole circumference if you don't want to measure the armhole of your dress. Now I'm doing a freehand sketch, so you can go ahead and calculate yours if you want to. I'm just going to draw a curve, and I'm going to measure what I have at the armhole, and I'm going to add 1 inch. So I have 9 inches, and I will add 1 inches to it after measuring what I have. That is exactly what I did. So after doing that, the next thing is to place my tape, and I will get my shoulder to elbow point, and at that point I'm going to measure what I have round. So after measuring my elbow round, I'm just going to add 1 inch or 1.5, because you're going to turn it with your lining. Measure what you have round your wrist, and next you're going to just go ahead to connect your lines. So this is what I have for this side, and I'm going to cut it out. So while cutting it out, the other sleeve we are going to draft is an off shoulder sleeve. So because it's an off shoulder sleeve, I'm just going to minus few inches from it. I'll minus about 3 to 4 inches from there, and I'll mark what I have. I'll measure from my armhole to the back of my armhole, or for a slim person you can use 4 inches, while for a fat or plus size you can add 5. So I'll just draw a curve, measure my shoulder to elbow point and my wrist point, and at the elbow point I'll add what I have around my elbow and 1 inch allowance, and then down to what I have at my sleeve, and I'll go ahead to connect this. So if you have any question concerning this, please leave it at the comment section. So I'll go ahead to cut out this, and I'm going to add ½ inch just because I'm going to turn it up with lining, or if you're not turning it up with lining, you can also add ½ inch and you're going to fold that part. So after cutting it out, this is what I have. I'll go ahead to measure what I have at the armhole. So after measuring what I have, I'm going to go ahead to transfer it to this part, and I will just add 1 inch in case I have any short edge, and I'll just cut it out. After this, I'll attach it to my dress. So I've gone ahead to attach my sleeve, and next I'm going to shape this dress and attach a trimming at the neckline, and I'll show you the final look. With this, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit on the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and leave your comments at the comment section. Thanks.